Hello and welcome to some more Star Citizen. There's a new patch on the Open PTU 3.10.0s, and I've seen a good few people suggest that it's a release candidate for a live build. The patch adds various changes and updates, but I don't think it's quite ready for a live build yet. Let's have a look at what they've actually added in this patch. They've temporarily updated the bounty hunting missions to not spawn around Delamar to avoid an issue with the target not spawning properly. They've increased the time it takes for doors to shut after it detects a ship has left the hangar bounds, which is good because you don't get your ships crushed as much. Increased the signature range for scanned minables. They've temporarily changed the Banu Defender loadout to use fixed size 2 tack-in singes to prevent the singes from being swapped to other ships, and those singes should no longer incorrectly damage multiple shield faces per hit. The singes were very much the OP sort of like meta build for weapons in the PTU in 3.10, so hopefully they have now moved away from that, which is good. Obviously they're trying to move away from the mass drivers being overpowered as well, so we should have a reasonably good meta in 3.10 when it goes live. They've removed the Nox Q, Dragonfly Yellow Jacket, Avenger Titan Renegade, and Saber Comet from the shops in the Persistent Universe. Them removing those is not a big deal at all. They are literally just skin and loadout changes, and everything except those specific skins can be bought in-game. You can buy the base ship and then all the weapon loadouts you want for it to make them into those. An interesting fix here is they've updated the error messaging received upon server disconnects. Now, they've sort of now split 10k, 30k and other disconnects into their own sort of codes. So some people will say that they've fixed 30ks. They haven't. They've moved them into different categories, and this is very useful for them to work out exactly why someone is disconnecting or what sort of stability issues they have with their servers, how to fix that much more appropriately. So it's a bit of a funny one there. Wind should no longer blow inside landing zone hangars. Repairing should now restore a ship's flight behavior to normal after repairing damage, such as broken wings, thrusters, and ship parts. Ping scans should now correctly show where a mineable deposit is on a planet's surface. They fixed an issue that was causing AR icons for ship minables to frequently not display when that was intended. The player ship should no longer be destroyed shortly after flying into a restricted area or zone around the spaceport after leaving a hangar. Autopilot should now correctly give control back to a player after taking over in a landing spline when they've gone into a restricted area or whatever. So those two fixes there, they were incredibly important. Along with hangar doors should no longer remain closed when the hangar is assigned to a player's ship. Problems, especially with Area 18, were causing players to not actually be able to use that landing zone there at all, pretty much, and the new restricted areas were causing a whole heap of troubles. A player's VoIP or voice over IP connection should now correctly reconnect again after a previous disconnect. The aim of mining lasers on the Argo Mole should no longer become offset when aiming at a mineable rock. The mineable deposit AR icon should no longer disappear when in field of view. Boxes should no longer be labelled as objective setup in the HUD when completing the Covlex delivery and recovery missions from Rex. They fixed an issue causing bodies to float above the ground when dragging a body upstairs. They fixed an issue causing the bartender to sometimes wait long periods before being able to interact with the usables, and they fixed 3 client crashes and 2 more additional server crashes. Likely Cloud Imperium doing fixes for the Pro 10 missions and Singes suggests they are trying to get their house in order for a live release. However, I would like the Banu Defender and Singes to be as functional as possible rather than sort of like a bodged fix there. Obviously we're about to have the bounty hunting missions all over as well, and there are still a good few more major issues with 3.10 on the pre-TU that have yet to be resolved. Repairing refuel at one of the stations, the HURL4 station, causes a client crash. You're supposed to avoid that location currently. There's issues with asteroids being pinged and relocating. Shots from remote turrets may appear to desync, but they still actually connect with the target. Firing at AI ships can desync and they can have high packet loss, which is obviously major. Ships can be displayed as unknown after destruction and not appear on the specific landing pad that they're supposed to spawn on. The multi-tool in the Klesha prison commissary does not come with the orbit mining attachment, and if a player exits to menu, disconnects or crashes during the prison load screen, their loadout may not have been changed correctly, so and that's sort of like needs to be fixed as well. The Area 18 nav marker will appear at Central Plaza there, not the spaceport, so signposting not great there. Landing gear will take multiple presses of the keybind to activate or retract, pull up, whatever. Legally landed ships can also sometimes be impounded. There are issues with disconnections in the current build as well, at least for me, and there looks like there are now, as I said earlier, 10k and 30k issues. They've sort of separated them into different named disconnects more appropriately for bug fixing. So there are still some more minor bugs that need to be addressed as well. Crystals and large surface rock deposits don't settle properly after being fractured, causing them to sometimes vibrate and shake. The grey cat rock cannot extract all of the child crystals, and some are left behind when it fractures rocks and tries to suck them up into its sort of like more realistic tractor beam. Hammerhead atmospheric entry effects are clipping through the interior of the ship. When going into aim down sights, you can't see through some scopes, the arrowhead and the P6LR more specifically, and free look doesn't always work properly in turrets. It looks like keybinds and targeting are relatively well settled in now. I'm not sure if we're going to see much more changes with that. The stability of the patch, however, needs to be addressed before we have a live build, in my opinion. I hope that Cloud Imperium don't try and push it this weekend if those conditions aren't met, but if they are and they get a great candidate, cool. I think we'd all be much happier with a better 3.10 experience if they go live next week, in my opinion. So let's see what happens. But I'm interested to know what you think. Are you playing in the latest 3.10.0 SPTU patch? What are your experiences? Do you think we'll see a live build this weekend or next week? Whatever your thoughts, I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. I'm also a massive shill for NordVPN. Check out the links below if you want discount on that and you're looking for a VPN. Shadow gaming PCs, if you want to not own your own gaming PC, but you want to rent one and you can use your power of your internets to leverage that, and it's a really good choice for a lot of people. Check that out. Shadow Gaming, links below as well. We're giving a brand new merchantman away as well throughout July. All we've got to do to be in for a chance to win that is comment on any of my Star Citizen videos made during the month. There's more details of all of that down below. Also, if you want to further support the channel in any way with a Patreon or becoming a YouTube member or sharing the video or subbing or liking, you can do all that as well. Links to everything's down below. Please check that out. Thanks very much for watching, guys. You take care, and I'll see you in the verse.